When you think about weight loss or getting in shape, your mind likely shifts immediately to some sort of exercise, whether it be training in the gym, jogging, or some sort of class, etc. It is usually something physical that your mind is drawn to. After that, your mind may shift to the idea that you have to eat properly. Eating more salads, eating a more well-balanced diet, etc. However, if you are like most people, the idea of working on your psychology to lose weight, well, that just never comes to mind. It's not something that you associate with weight loss. The fact that you can simply work on the way you think, understand how you feel, and determine what to focus in on, the fact that that can have a significant impact on your weight loss, well, that's just something that would never, ever come to mind. Well, today, I plan to do something about that. For as you'll find out, the way that we have all been taught of the proper way to lose weight and become more healthy and fit, well, it's all set up entirely backwards. I'll be showing you the reason why I believe that psychology is the #1 key thing for losing weight, getting your health and fitness back, and actually changing every aspect of your life. And I'll be showing you how to harness its power so that you can begin using it to make long-term and significant changes in your life. Let's dive in. Welcome to episode 35 of the LeRock Show, where I'm here to help you get your fitness back on track at any age and regardless of your current fitness level, so you can spend more quality time with your families, have a brighter outlook on life, and finally find the true joy that life has to offer. I'm your host, LeRock. Awesome to see you again. Thanks for joining the show. You might notice that it's a little bit darker than usual for today's episode. It's because I'm filming this one at nighttime. Had a long day working out in the yard and doing a bunch of stuff around the house, running errands, etc. But I still wanted to make sure that I get a show out for you. For those of you listening on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, thanks for listening again and putting me in your ears as you go about your day, doing your errands possibly, and hopefully absorbing some of the positivity I'm trying to send your way each day. And if you're watching on YouTube, thanks for tuning in, and thanks for continuing to watch and seeing the value and information that I'm sharing. In my heart of hearts, I hope that you're trying out some of these little things that I share each week, implementing these little steps into your life so you can finally take charge of things and begin losing the weight and taking back your health and fitness once and for all. I look forward to your comments and feedback each week. I look forward to your reviews because it really does motivate me to come up with new ideas for future shows. Yes, this week, my whole intention and plan is to help you to have a shift in your perspective, to understand this unique perspective that I have when it comes to health and fitness. In my humble opinion, the video I'm about to share with you today, the message I'm going to share with you, is more powerful than any exercise video or nutritional video that you can ever watch. The message that I learned the hard way is the one I'm sharing with you today. The message that psychology is the #1 most important thing that determines whether you fail or you succeed at any aspect of your life. And I know some of you may be tempted to click away, because this may not be in line with your current beliefs. But all I ask from you is just be patient for a few moments. Give it a chance. Stay with me for the show. I have your best interests in mind. And just listen to what I'm about to share, because it is a unique perspective that I learned the hard way. And it can make all the difference in your own life, whether you succeed or fail at your weight loss journey. Keep in mind that this psychology thing is the key that helped me to lose all the weight that I lost. And it's been the reason why I've been able to maintain that weight loss for more than 15 years now. So don't go anywhere, as I promise to be as clear as I possibly can be, so that you can fully grasp this idea, not only as a philosophical discovery, but as something tactical that you can implement into your life to make true change. Before we go there, I have something that I want to share with you today. I personally had struggles with dieting over the years. In fact, I ended up finding myself in the state of obesity not only once, but 2 times. The last time I found myself obese, I'm happy to say that I determined and discovered a way to get myself out for good. And part of that was creating my very own eating approach. I call it the automate your plate eating approach. Yes, it's an extremely unique eating approach in that it not only addresses the biological needs of our body, but it also addresses our psychology. In fact, I used the automate your plate eating approach to lose 65 pounds in 13 weeks. And the pounds, they just flew off. And the coolest part is that was more than 15 years ago. This eating approach spells it all out for you clearly. It tells you exactly what you should eat. It tells you what those portion sizes should be. It tells you when you should eat. It allows for planned cheat days every week. And the coolest part is everything is done seamlessly and on autopilot. It keeps you fueled properly for your workouts, and it won't slow you down. Those that have tried it and followed it correctly have had amazing results. And the cool thing that I have to share with you today is that I put together an absolutely free step-by-step checklist called the Automate Your Plate Checklist that you can click on and download today and begin using it and benefiting from it right away. Yes, the Automate Your Plate Checklist, the free download, takes everything that I teach on this directive in my book and in my online course, and it simplifies it all down into a single page cheat sheet. It's super easy to follow, and I'm giving it away to you today for free. For those of you listening on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or one of the other podcast networks out there, you can get yourself a copy by going to ethanlerrock.com/automate. And if you're watching on YouTube, there is a link down below. You can click on it and you can get it there. I'm telling you right now, I love the Automate Your Plate eating approach. I've been using it for more than 15 years now, and that's exactly why each week I'm trying to give it away to as many people as possible, because I know the power that it has to change lives. So go ahead, download it, and I look forward to hearing your results. Okay, this week I have a daunting task in front of me. My challenge this week to myself is I need to be able to shift your perspective from what you've been taught your entire life when it comes to health and fitness. Yes, I need to teach you something that I learned the hard way in order to help you flick the switch in your mind and change your perspective so that you can discover the exact same thing that I found out. The real truth, why most people can't get control over their weight and many aspects of their lives. So I'm going to take special care and try to go through this in the most organized way that I possibly can in order to help share this message. So please take a moment, grab yourself a pen, piece of paper, or journal, and get ready to write some things down, because the information I'm sharing today is very, very important. In fact, it's crucial to your whole weight loss journey. So if you've been watching me for a while, or if you've had a chance to read my book or join my online course, you may have a really good understanding about my belief when it comes to what the most powerful thing is for losing weight and taking charge of your life. That being your psychology. The number one key thing is your psychology. So you might ask yourself, why am I so certain about that? And why am I so passionate about this whole message, this message about psychology? I obviously like to work out and train in the gym. You know, it's something that I love to do. But why is it every week that's the main thing that I focus on when I talk and when I do my show? It's because it is the most powerful message that I've learned along the way. The advantage that I have, that I come to the table with, is that I fell in love with fitness at a very, very young age, the age of 13. The first time I picked up a barbell, I instantly fell in love with the feeling of pushing the iron, pushing the weight. I was instantly immersed in health and fitness. I read every book that I could get my hands on, and I began training almost immediately. I fell in love with the feeling that I got from lifting weights because that was just my thing. In high school, I remember spending every lunch break pumping iron in the gym, and then many times after school as well. And then sometimes even when I was at home, I'd be there with my dumbbells curling weights. It's just something that I fell in love with. I experimented with a myriad of different types of exercise approaches and different nutritional plans, and I became really good at dialing things in. In fact, I also helped train other people, and I also helped them achieve similar results to what I had, gaining some serious muscle and losing a bunch of unwanted weight. Now, the reason I call that out as being my advantage is not for the reasons that you might think. The reason I say this is my advantage is because of the hindsight that it gave me. You know, I studied the human anatomy. I studied health and fitness all the time. I became extremely experienced at it. I was able to gain muscle without even trying. I knew exactly how to lose weight. I tried out various exercise routines and programs. I also tried many different eating approaches. However, at the age of 26, I found myself in the exact same position that many people find themselves. I found myself in the state of obesity. You see, I was caught up in the busyness of life. I became a dad at an early age. I became a manager of people, and the business of life just took over. And in the end, I didn't have much time for me. And as the pounds started coming on, I had zero energy and I had absolutely zero desire for doing any type of exercise or for even thinking about eating nutritiously. It all disappeared. And like most, in order to make myself feel better and get some short-term pleasure, I reached out for high-calorie foods. You know, the junk foods that are out there. In fact, I was suffering from high blood pressure, anxiety, depression, and it was a vicious circle. I just felt horrible about my entire life. And to be honest with you, I just didn't care anymore. But the ultimate lesson I learned much later. You see, when I did hit bottom and I became obese, I tapped back into my old mindset, all the stuff that I had learned. And I got my butt back into the gym and I was working out 2 to 3 hours a day. I was weighing all my food, counting all my calories, making sure that I spent more calories than I was taking in, and all the stuff that we're taught out there. That's what I did. And guess what? I managed to get my muscles back. I managed to lose all the weight, and I thought I figured it all back out. But I hadn't learned my lesson yet. Over the next 9 years, I went up and down, up and down, up and down with my weight. And I found myself 9 years later, at the age of 36, in a state of obesity for the second time. The reason I call this my advantage is because it forced me to look elsewhere for my answers. It drew me to the world of personal development and psychology. The months that followed that, I immersed myself in as much literature as I could, listening and reading to books, taking courses, and ultimately, I was able to create my very own roadmap to get myself out of it once and for all. So I'm going to do my best today to explain to you how it all works and how it can work for you as well. So please, all I ask is that you keep an open mind. So like I said before, when most people think about how they can lose weight and get their fitness back, the first thing they think about is what exercise they can do. You know, they get on the internet and they start searching out what exercise they can possibly do to lose pounds and, you know, lose a certain amount of weight in 30 days, or how to get a small waist, or whatever it might be. They think about the exercise and they start watching all these training videos and trying to put together a plan that they can follow. And after that, the second thing they think of is what can they possibly eat? You know, what's a nutrition plan they can go on to lose some weight? And almost nobody thinks about the idea of looking inward at their own psychology as a way to lose weight. And with that, they're looking at everything entirely backwards. And that's what I'm going to try to explain to you today. The reason exercise is not the number one thing. Diet and exercise are very important, but exercise is not the number one most important thing. Exercise only tells you the how. It gives you a little bit of the how so that you can get an image in your mind of what the possibilities or what the potential might be for you. Exercise is important, but it's not the number one thing. Now, this is coming from a guy who loves training. I love working out with weights and with, machines and all that good stuff. I enjoy bodybuilding. I like what it does for me. It makes me feel really good. Everybody has their thing that they like when it comes to exercise, and that's mine. But with all that being said, it's not the number one most important thing when it comes to losing weight. You see, me, like many trainers, I can show you exactly what exercise to do to build up certain body parts, to build up your core strength, to build up your cardiovascular abilities. I can show you all that. I can show you exactly what to eat in order to lose weight and to burn fat and keep yourself in a really good high metabolism. But the problem is, one thing I can't do for you is instill in you the desire to work out and do the right things that you're supposed to be doing. I can't instill that in you. That's a power that only you have. That is exactly why you may know some people out there that somehow lost a bunch of weight and then over a period of time gained it all back and maybe some more. Maybe that happened to you. That's all part of this. This is what I'm trying to share. It's not about the methods. It's not about the how. It's about the psychology. It's about what's going on up here. And it's not just like a philosophical thing. It's not a general thing that I'm just talking about where you just think about things and you can change them. It's not that. We're talking about actual psychology, about using the way you think and you feel to take control of your life and putting it in your favor so that you can do whatever you want in life by just making a shift in your psychology. So I'll try to explain that, make it kind of clear to you if I can. You see, with psychology, it forces us to look much deeper within ourselves and ask probing questions, asking questions that we normally wouldn't even think of asking. And the most important questions are the ones that ask the why behind everything we do in life. For example, if you're trying to lose weight, why are you trying to lose weight? It forces you to step back for a moment and think. Use your mind, avoid all your distractions that you have going on in your life, and truly think about why it is that you need to do this. And it can't just be something, vanity driven. It can't just be, I want to look better. And like those are good reasons. Vanity is a good reason. Wanting to be more attractive, that's a good reason. Wanting to feel better and be able to run and jump and do whatever you want to do, that's a good reason. But you really need to look deeper below the surface. The real why is why it's so important. It asks us to stop and truly think about what we actually want in life. It allows us to see through visualization and believe what is possible to have in our lives. It allows us to understand our patterns and our habits, because as we start looking at our psychology over a period of time, you're going to see things. You're going to see patterns that are getting you to where you are right now, that got you to where you are right now. And you're going to be able to make adjustments and change those to your benefit. And one of the amazing powers of psychology, it allows you to remove distractions and to become extremely focused on what matters to you. Now, there's a myriad of things that you can do with your psychology that will help you to improve your life. It allows you to strategically introduce methods and routines into your life that allow you to make change, that allow you to start moving forward in the right direction, that allow you to smash through the mental barriers that we all create for ourselves in our minds. Through using visualization and planning, looking at the whole pleasure versus pain principle, dealing with failure, how to avoid and get rid of procrastination, and how to bring more positivity into your life. These are all things that are psychology based, that you have the power within you to address. It's not just something that's out there that you have to go see a shrink or a doctor in order to get results. It's something that you can actually control. And one of the other cool parts about psychology is it allows us to heal on the inside, so that we can flourish in all aspects of our lives. And one of the bonuses is that it allows us to have impact on others. As we heal and as we become stronger, and we're talking about health and fitness today, so as we lose a bunch of weight and we become more physically fit and we take charge of our lives, the people around us get inspired by that. The people around us can see what's happening, and you can have an impact on them as well. So you may be saying to yourself, well, that sounds quite great, Ethan, but how do I go about using psychology to take charge of my life? How do I go about doing that? Well, purchase my course and you'll find out. No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm going to share with you today exactly how you can do that. The simplest thing is I want you to start scheduling some time, a little bit of time each week to sit down with a piece of paper and a pen and start writing down your thoughts. There is something that happens, and you won't realize this until you actually do it. When you connect your pen to paper, there's something that psychologically takes place in the mind and makes things stick better than if you just like watch a video or if you just, put something in a computer. It's something about, pen to paper that actually makes a big difference. Now, there are a myriad of questions that you need to ask yourself, depending on where you're at. Like, I don't know your situation, so I can't tell you all the questions you should be asking. But inside your heart and inside your mind, you're going to know what these questions should be. Like in my example, when I was going through this whole thing, and I did this for myself, one of the first questions I asked myself is, am I happy? And then it was, well, why am I not happy in life? Why, whenever things are going wrong, why do I eat so much? Why is food so important to me? What kind of pleasure am I getting out of those horrible meals that I'm eating? And those bags and bags and bags of chips that I'm eating? What is that doing to me? Why don't I like exercise? Why don't I like exercising anymore? That was a question that I asked myself. I asked myself, what would make me happy? What would make my life better? What would make me happy? And this thing that would make me happy, that I think would make me happy, why is it so important? And as I wrote these things down, I started finding a pattern. I started finding a way out of the way I was thinking. And it wasn't like something that just happened overnight. It was a daily practice. I would write things down. I would come up with answers. Some days I would write things down and I would get a roadblock and I wouldn't be able to get the answers, and it was frustrating at times. But I would keep coming back to it until I actually got the answers that I really needed. The answers that changed my entire life. I'd ask myself things like, what's the ultimate result that I'm trying to achieve here? Like, what does healthy and fit even mean to me anymore? What does that mean? Because everybody has their own unique perspective. Some people may be sitting out there that are 200-300 pounds overweight, and all they can do is dream about being able to move properly, without breathing heavy and being able to participate in life and feel normal. There are some people out there that are maybe 30 pounds overweight, and they're just looking for a little bit of motivation, finding a way to, they found that they've fallen into a slump where they're not getting any activity in their life and they're not eating properly. And they just need to find their way out of that rut. And a lot of times the excuse is because they don't have time, because life is too busy. And that's what dealing with your psychology does for you. It allows you to sit down and look at what the reality is. Because the reality is that everything you have going on in your life is something that you've introduced into your life and allowed to take place over time. And it's up to you to reverse that whole thing, to stop cluttering your life with things that aren't value added, things that aren't helping you to get to where you want to be. And the cool thing is, all those questions you come up with and all those answers you can come up with, those are the key things that you can use to create your very own roadmap like I did. Finding a way to chunk it all out, to step it all out so that you can become what you want to become. I did that myself. I created my own roadmap. It started with, looking at what I wanted to be. It started with visualization. That was the very first thing. And then after that, it started dealing with some of the deeper stuff, the pain, the reason that I was seeking out food in order to get pleasure, to fill in the voids and the gaps that I was missing, the feeling of pain that I had inside. So I had to deal with that. And that was the next logical step. And after that, the next logical step was I had to deal with my nutrition. And I kept going through it until I got to the end. I ended up with the 9 directives that I created and I put into my book. I didn't share that with anybody for years and years and years. because that was mine. It's how I found my way out. But what I expected to happen, I expected to see somebody out there in the health and fitness industry to do like I'm doing today, to start talking about psychology and the importance of psychology, rather than just pump out another exercise video where someone's working out with weights and sweating and looking great and just feeding the people what they're used to seeing, because it sells. You can sell a lot of, online courses that show you how to work out. You can sell a lot of things that show you how to eat properly, and it just keeps going around and around. It's a multi-billion dollar industry. But nobody talks about the true solution, which is the reason why many people out there can't seem to find their way out. Regardless of, they know how to exercise, they know what's out there, they know there's a variety of things they could be doing. They know that they shouldn't be eating that fast food, French fries and hamburger meal. They shouldn't be doing that, but they're still stuffing their faces and they don't know why. It's because of their thinking. They've allowed themselves to fall into a certain thought process. And that's the key. That's why the obesity rates are at an all-time high right now. Because nobody's taking the time to talk about the psychology part of it, because it's hard to connect. Because you're talking about a physical thing. Unfortunately, people are taught that the mind and the body are separate things. That your mental abilities and that your physical abilities are two separate things that aren't related. But they're actually connected. They're connected deeply. That's why if you get yourself too down and you start letting yourself get stressed out, all of a sudden you start having all these physical ailments in your body. It's because your mind is connected to your body. Something you might want to try doing is looking into personal development. Start seeking out things that aren't just about, how to lose weight or, how to build some muscle, but literature and courses out there that are about personal development, about taking charge of your life, about being a better leader, about being a better person. There's all kinds of stuff out there, stuff that focuses in on positivity and joy and love and all the good things in life. And start, just exposing yourself to those things. Because when you're in a dark place and you're not feeling good about yourself and you feel like you're just stuck, there's a huge power in exposing yourself to positivity on a regular basis. It shows you possibilities. It shows you what's out there. It shows you potential. That's what I try to do every week. That's really why I'm here. It's to motivate you, to motivate that person that just needs that little extra nudge, that little idea of what they can do to change things up, to get their butts off the couch, to start living their life fuller again, to start enjoying their relationships on a better level, to start feeling more zest for life, and to feel more vibrancy. Those are the things that I want for you, and those are the things that I encourage you to seek out. It doesn't have to be my stuff. It could be anybody out there. There's excellent teachers out there. Get out your pen. There's Brendan Burchard. There's Tony Robbins. Those two alone are amazing. There's who else? Dave Ramsey, if you want to do something with your finances and learn how to improve your life that way and get unburied out of debt like I did years ago. There's Dr. Phil. You know who Dr. Phil is. I read his book Relationship Rescue. That was another great one for my relationship in life. All these little things, all these little self-improvement courses and books, they're out there. There's tons and tons, especially in today's day and age, with all the, the way the internet has boomed, and with the pandemic, all these people issuing their, releasing their online courses and stuff. It's abundant. And I encourage you to look there as well. And, another thing that just came to mind, if you find yourself that you're in a spot that you're really stuck and you're kind of in a dark place, then by all means, I want you to seek a professional. Somebody that you can talk to that knows how to deal with these things. Because there's all different levels, right? There's all different levels of obesity. There's all different levels of anxiety and depression. There's all different levels of many of these things out there in our psychology that we can either deal with on our own, which is like I did, but there's also things, some people get to a level where they need a little bit of help. And it's okay to ask for help, because that's just a step in the right direction. That's all it is. Doesn't mean you need help for your entire life, but everybody comes to a point sometimes in their life where they need a little bit of help. And don't be afraid to reach out and get that help. And I guess the last thing I would say about psychology and using it to your benefit is don't allow yourself to be afraid of failure, to be afraid of trying something and not succeeding at it. Because that's just a human psychological thing we do. We set ourselves up all the time. It's usually, there's a fear involved of some sort, and failure is a big one. You know, a lot of people are just afraid to try something out. What if I get injured? What if I don't do good at it? What if those people laugh at me? What if I like go into my yoga class and everybody's looking at me because I'm not like them and I haven't been doing it my whole life? Well, guess what? That's all just fear. Fear of failure. And one of the strongest things I can say to you is avoid that. Ignore that feeling. Push through that feeling and think about who you could be. Think about what's possible. Think about that person that's you. You know, maybe it's a year from now. Maybe it's 6 months from now. Maybe you're really, really bad and it's 2 years from now. But you can change it. You can work at that. And that person is waiting there for you. They're waiting for you to get over your fears, to start dealing with your psychology. Yes, exercise and nutrition is important, so you need to learn about that. But most importantly, you need to start writing out a plan, you know, using your psychology, using those questions that I asked you to ask yourself, and coming up with your own questions, and not giving up until you get the answers that you need to hear. You know, the answers that guide you out of this thing. Because that's exactly what I did. And that's why I wrote my book. That's why I have an online course. And that's why I'm here every week sharing these little messages with you. Because the message is strong and powerful, but it's not said enough. It's not out there. Not enough people are doing this. Eventually it will be. I know it will be. But right now, this is the message that's really needed out there. Rather than, you know, me getting out a video, you know, a videographer and doing a bunch of workout videos and showing you how great I am at all the workouts I do. It's all a bunch of, it's fine, but it's fine for people that need to know the how. But that's not the true way, the true key thing for losing weight and having a lifetime of being healthy and fit. Because you might notice not many people spend their entire life healthy and fit. You know, not many people do it for the long term. There's a lot of flash in the pans out there that'll be in great shape, and then all of a sudden they just disappear and you never see them again. Or you see them later and they don't even look like the same person anymore. It's because they didn't deal with this. They didn't deal with their psychology. In closing, I hope I was able to get the message across in a way that you can comprehend and understand. Sometimes trying to convey a message that you've personally learned in your life through hardship is very hard to convey to the student. It's very hard to teach someone because they haven't gone through the hardship themselves. The real lesson is when you go through these horrible things. That's the true lesson. The aha moment comes when the student comes out the other side, when they've lost all the weight, when they're looking in the mirror, when that person comes up to them on the street and goes, "You look amazing." And then that you try to explain that you used to be obese at one time and they're looking at you like you've got two heads, like, yeah, right, you've never been out of shape. That's when you realize, that's when you get the aha moment and you go, oh, this whole psychology thing, it makes a lot of sense. So in summary, exercise and diet are important, but they are not the number one most important thing when it comes to losing weight and keeping it off for a lifetime. Your psychology is the number one most important thing. Take time to sit down on a regular basis. I would encourage you to do this daily. Writing out your thoughts, your feelings, writing out tough questions, finding answers to those tough questions, and putting together a plan in your life that calls on you to be accountable, that calls on you to do the things that you're not currently doing. You know, getting rid of the distractions, getting rid of the things that really you don't need in your life, and putting more of these positive things into your life. You know, yes, exercise, yes, proper nutrition, planning that stuff out. You can't do that on autopilot. And, you know, bringing other things into your life, your other hopes, your other dreams, your other desires, your other passions, so that you can have a more well-rounded, balanced life. Look into personal development. You know, there's many of them out there, many wonderful people, wonderful human beings that are trying to make a big difference in people's lives. And don't be afraid to seek out help if you need it. You know, there's no shame in that. That's just the first step of getting better, of healing, finding professional help. And if it's not just psychological help, maybe you need help on a physical level too. Maybe you need someone to show you how to do exercise or how to properly, plan a meal or prepare your nutrition plan. I don't know because I'm not you, but by all means, seek out professional help if you need it. But most importantly, begin trying again. And don't be afraid of failing, because failing, it's just one of the outcomes of trying. Success is the other outcome. And if you fail enough times, eventually you're going to succeed. So before we go, by all means, please grab yourself a free gift. Download your free copy of my Automate Your Plate checklist. The checklist is built on that eating approach that I developed more than 15 years ago. The same exact eating approach that I use to lose 65 pounds in 13 weeks. The same exact eating approach that I'm on today. The Automate Your Plate checklist, all it does is it cuts out all the confusion. It makes it so you don't have to read the book or take the online course. It shows you everything you need to know about the Automate Your Plate eating approach in a paint-by-numbers, step-by-step system. So you just follow each of the checks and you'll be well on your way to automating your plate. And like I said earlier, just go to ethanlerock.com/automate and you can download it there. And if you're watching this YouTube video, there's a link right below here that you can click on and you can download it. As always, feel free to share with me how you feel about this week's episodes. Share some comments down below. And by all means, if you had any aha moments that kind of just a light bulb came on, please share those as well, because those are the types of things that can really help the community. And if any of this, as you're watching, created any questions that you might have, please don't hesitate to leave me some questions in the comments, because I often will pop in and I may leave you a reply, or I might create a video for a future episode that can help everyone. I hope today's episode left you with an entirely different perspective about the importance of psychology for losing weight and keeping it off for a lifetime. I hope your whole perspective had a shift and you understand now why exercise and nutrition, it just isn't the most important thing. I am so thankful that I get to be here again this week to share my unique perspective on how to lose weight. And most of all, I hope I inspired you to make some serious change in your life. Have a blessed day and remainder of the week. And until we meet again, stay healthy, be happy, and live your life with intention every single day.